What do Jane Fonda, Dustin Hoffman, and Pia Zadora all have in common? Ready? Each of them won the Golden Globe for Best New Star of the Year back in the day. But only Pia Zadora starred in Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which sadly is not yet available on Blu-ray. Quel dommage. She's now starring in the one-woman show Pia Zadora Back Again and Standing Tall, which opens tonight at New York's Metropolitan Room. Please welcome to the show, everybody, Pia Zadora.
Quel dommage. I love that. You're bilingual.
I am.
I should have brushed up on my French.
But, you know, tell me about this Golden Globe, because no one knew who you were when you got the Golden Globe. The movie wasn't even out yet. And yet you won an award. How did that happen?
You're stepping on my lines.
Oh.
It's exactly true. You're the only one who knows the real story.
So how come you won?
Because the Hollywood Foreign Press had seen the film, and they thought...
What was the name of the film?
Butterfly, with Orson Welles.
Butterfly, which was about incest, correct?
Yes, it was. It was. So the foreign press saw it, liked it. The film wasn't released when the Golden Globes were aired, and no one knew who I was.
Yeah.
I had a funny name, which eventually became Johnny Carson's answer to Rula Lenska. Pia Zadora, remember that? You would remember.
Rula Lenska.
Yes.
Yes, who was Rula Lenska?
She was some Polish actress.
But so you became
you
became a bit of a punchline for Johnny Carson.
So I became a bit of a punchline for Johnny Carson. But the thing is, I think Hollywood thought, I mean, everyone was under the misimpression that I had won for Best Actress. But basically, I had won for New Star of the Year,
right?
Which was not Best Actress. It was just someone who made an impact on the screen. And that was the beginning of a big era for me, because I had started on Broadway when I was very young, when I was 7. And then I had done this movie that all of a sudden became very controversial. I was married to a wealthy man, and he was involved in the production of the film, and I won the Golden Globe.
Okay, before we get to that husband of yours, which is interesting, the first husband, because you've been married 3 times now, right?
Yes.
Okay, the first husband is interesting. But let's talk about the punchline business. I mean, how did you feel about that?
I felt like...
Did you feel bad?
No, you know what? I'm a fighter. I felt like, you know, I had been around for a long time. I was doing what I was doing since I was a baby. And I felt like I needed to get out there and use... I could either go home with my tail between my legs or get out there and grab it by the balls.
Yes, and you did. You went out there and you had a singing career. And now let's talk to, what's his name? Mishigas Rickles?
You got that right.
I remember, first of all, Rula Lenska, just to make everybody clear on that, she became a punchline because she had some kind of a, hello, I'm Rula Lenska, and I'm and we're like, who the hell are you?
Right, she was the Abe Hirschfeld. Remember when he had that commercial when he was running for
another
whatever?
One. It's like also Peter Lemongello. Remember him?
Right.
These are all names that became, they were like obscure people. So just to clarify that. Now, your husband, Mishigas Rickles.
Mishigasm.
He was your friend.
Mishigoyim Rickles. Oh, he's going to love this.
He was much older
God
than you.
They don't get your show in Israel.
Oh, he's in Israel?
Where he is right now.
They should get my show in Israel. They would like it.
They would.
Okay, so Mishigas was like 53, and you were how old?
No, Mishigas was in his, there's a picture.
There he is.
Mishigas was 47, 48.
What did you see in him besides a wad of cash, may I ask? Because there's no beauty.
Yeah, it was different than, you know, he was a very charismatic guy.
Yeah.
Obviously very smart, not obviously, he was very smart, very funny.
Yeah.
He had a strength that my father never had. My father wasn't that kind of a guy, and he claims that I married him to get away from my mother. And
what, was your mother a nightmare?
Well, my mother was very controlling, and I had been working since I was a baby.
Against your will?
Not necessarily. I was a very shy little girl. I went to a dramatic school to bring me out of my shell, and I ended up on Broadway, so I was escaping my shyness by being with adults, and I did well. And so, you know, I never did anything but be on stage. I never knew how, you know, I never matured. It was just go on stage. You know,
like a lot of child actors.
Exactly.
Now, so how did he find you?
He was a stage door Johnny. He saw me, I was doing applause with Alexis Smith. And he came back and he brought me flowers and asked me out.
See, now, in this day and age, they would consider him a pedophile.
But not necessarily.
You were a child. You were 17, and he was how old?
I was 19. He was in his 40s. There was a 27. Don't give me that one.
They don't see it in Israel. What do I care?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
It's not him, it's me. I was young. I was very young. I had been with adults, amongst adults, growing up amongst adults.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any frame of reference. He took me and he showed me and he grew me up. And he was very much of a father figure to me.
But he controlled your career to a large extent.
He controlled
was behind your stardom and everything else, right? He put a lot of money into it.
Right.
He had a lot of cash. Would you consider him a millionaire, a billionaire, a half a millionaire?
Oh, I don't know.
What was
at
he?
this point.
You don't know.
Well,
At
that time, he was probably a multimillionaire.
Multi-millions.
Yeah. But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about the career, the controlling.
No.
I was doing Broadway shows and touring, and he wanted me to stay in one place and not travel as much. So he produced a film. I was in the film, and it took me a few more films. I did Lonely Lady for Universal, thinking, that would save me, but that.
But I think that it was two-pronged with him, because on the one hand, he kind of gave you a career and also was a father figure to you. But on the other hand, it's because of that Svengali-ness of his and the money that he put behind you that people didn't take you seriously. Correct?
Probably.
Yeah. So in a way, it had two sides to it. But who knows what would have happened if you hadn't met him? You might have been a bigger star, or you might have been in obscurity. It's hard to make it in this business.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So that's why I needed to take the visibility that whole controversial Golden Globe gave me and get out there and show people what I really could do. So Johnny ended up having me on the show and apologizing to me. Yeah.
He apologized.
Oh, yeah.
We've come full circle in this segment. I love it.
Full circle, and I did with Steve Allen, Night of 100 Stars. He and Jane had me on. Jane made him apologize. I sang The Man That Got Away.
Steve Allen made jokes also.
Yeah. So, it made me feel good.
You want to hear something before? We're going to take a break and then come back with more.
Okay.
But my husband taught high school, junior high up in the Bronx, and there was a kid there named PIA ZADORA Lopez.
Really?
In other words, it's not just Pia Lopez, it's PIA ZADORA Lopez.
Wow, so she must have gotten that from me, huh?
She got it from you, honey. Nobody else was named Pia Zadora but you.
Right.
And we'll have more with Miss PIA ZADORA right after this.
Let's do some reefer. We'll get high and I'll iron the chick's hair.
Reefer?
Drugs? Loco weed. When I'm high, I am Odetta. Let's get naked and smoke.
Cool.
That was PIA ZADORA in the John Waters cult classic Hairspray.
That really came back to haunt me, Joy, because my little girl was in preschool at the time, and all the parents were saying to me, "Oh, wow, my kids are all your fans." I'm like, "Really? They like Frank Sinatra?" And they said, "No." They walk around the house going, "Let's get naked and smoke." I'm like, "Okay,
Oh, boy.
I'll never be the president of the PTA."
Well, you were young there, too. You were a kid.
I was young there, too.
You were a kid.
I don't think I was ever a kid, Joy.
Well, because the fact remains that you were pushed into showbiz by your mother.
I was.
And then were you pushed into the marriage with Michigas also?
With Michigas, my mother basically, I think my mother, she wanted to marry him, so I married him. She married him vicariously through me. I mean, I hate and rest. I've been in therapy for a long time, so I am understanding this, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. And, she's at her rest, she's at peace. But basically, she encouraged me to do it because she wanted the security, and she adored him, absolutely adored him.
She loved him.
He was a very charismatic guy. I mean, he, very funny, very smart, very thick accent, couldn't understand a word he said, which worked in his favor sometimes.
Your mother didn't know what the hell he was saying.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was appearing in Columbus, Ohio, and he came and he saw the show, and he asked me to dinner. I said, "I'm sorry, I have a cast party," but he had his private plane. "Would you mind taking my mother back to New York with you?" Because my mother traveled with me. And so basically, he gave her the book. He sent the driver to take her home.
He knew how to get to you.
Yeah,
through
yeah,
Mama Rose.
Big time. Big time. You got that right.
For me.
Oh, yeah.
Gypsy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm glad to hear you've had a lot of therapy, because that sounds like the kind of childhood that would need therapy, just to work out who were the villains, who were the good guys, who hurt you, who helped you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm sure your mother was complicated personality and had her own needs, and that's what made her be that way. But
Right, right. I mean, I can't blame her.
No.
Because obviously she comes from her own pain and her own drama.
Yeah, I know. But you have to be, you know what, I've been in therapy a long time and know a lot about it. You have to be angry before you can be understanding.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay.
Before the sadness, the anger masks the sadness.
Yeah,
And
the anger
and then,
masks the
then
sadness.
you figure it out.
Yeah.
And the thing in therapy with me, I kept telling my shrink, psychoanalysis. You know, okay, so we know this now, so what good is it going to do me? And he'd say, well, that's it. Just knowing it and talking about it fixes it, because I always want to fix things.
Yeah, but it sort of, once you really deal with it, your whole self changes. It changes slowly.
Understanding resolves it.
It's like,
the
I get it.
understanding.
Okay, so let's move on to Frank Sinatra, because you opened for Frank Sinatra in Vegas, was it?
I did.
As a singer?
I did. In fact, my mother claims that she conceived me with Frank Sinatra's voice in the room. And I said, Jesus, are you having an affair with him? And she said, no, it was a record. I mean, his music, there are 7 billion people on the planet. And I
Because
think
of him.
Half of them, because him. The other half probably vodka, Viagra, something like that. But I mean,
Even
his-
to this day, he's a romantic singer.
Oh my God,
Yeah, yeah.
Some of his stuff is so gorgeous.
But how did he find you?
I was appearing at the Fountain Blue in
Florida?
Miami with Jackie Mason.
Yeah.
He came to see the show, and the next day I got a beautiful bouquet of white roses and a card saying, "You knocked him dead," from the guy with the blue eyes.
Wow.
And that afternoon, his people
I
called.
got chills from that.
I know.
That's great.
I know.
What a story.
I know. And then his people called and said, "Would you love, Mr. Sinatra would like you to open the show for him." So that was
Yeah.
in Vegas, and we had such a good time that he and Don Rickles asked me to go out and cross-country tour with them after that. And
Did you have to bring Menachem with you? Whatever his name is, Meshuggah. Did you have to bring Meshuggah with you?
Yeah, Michigan came for part of it. He paid for the gas.
Who needed him along?
Well, you know, with those guys, they all got along well. It was kind of fun.
That is what a great time in your life. How long did that last? I love that.
About a year. We were on tour for about a year.
And then Frank
And
Sinatra.
Frank, oh
yeah.
my God, what a taskmaster. He was the best. He was like
What
every
did he
night,
tell you?
every night before I'd go on stage, he'd call me over, take my hands in his, look me straight in the eye,
Yeah.
and give me a 3-word pep talk.
What was that?
Don't screw up. It's true.
Did that scare you?
Are you kidding? I was shaking in my boots. I did not screw up. I did not screw
Wow.
up. Oh, he was fabulous. He was good.
Yeah, he has a mixed reputation. Some people thought he was fabulous.
Oh, he was tough.
Some did not.
We
but
had our, you know.
a great entertainer, 20th
Oh.
century icon, I think, in terms of pop culture. And the son, Frank Sinatra Jr.,
Yes.
arranged your music. Did he ever talk to you about being kidnapped? I remember that
No,
whole period.
he never did.
He never
He
did.
really didn't
Who
like to talk
kidnapped
about
him
that, a
that
lot.
time?
I really don't know. My manager was also his manager at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I did a special with him in Bermuda called Sinatra in Paradise because Barbie Benton fell out. So I replaced me for Barbie
She
Benton.
usually fell out of her top.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that.
I remember Hefner's girlfriend, Barbie Benton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, now I want to play a quick game with you before we go. I'm going to name somebody, and since you've met these famous people, I want you to give me your, like in therapy?
Free.
Yeah, free association.
association.
Orson Welles.
Marijuana patch. Wild.
A marijuana patch? He had the garden? Oh, he grew his
a
own pot.
garden.
Really?
He grew a garden, and he was very, he liked women.
Well, good for him.
I loved him.
Is that why he got so fat? Because, pot stimulates your appetite.
Really? Oh, good
Yeah,
point.
maybe that's when he got
I
fat.
never smoked.
You never smoked pot?
Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
it makes you fat. How about Don Rickles?
Pickles. Well, obviously you don't smoke it either.
No.
Don Rickles. Don Rickles was obviously you love to be around him, but you didn't want to be out of the room when he's talking about you.
Talk about, but he did it to your
and
face also.
He did it to your
Yeah.
face also, but in fun. But
Yeah.
I was appearing in Westbury with him. Oh, Rodney Dangerfield, remind me to tell you
Okay.
that. I was appearing in Westbury with him. My father, conductor, concertmaster, was playing in the pit. And he made mincemeat of him.
He did.
My poor, shy little violinist was like, "Oh, PIA Zadora's father is there. What? He didn't get the check this month? What the hell is going on? God, Mishalem, call Meshuggah, call Meshuggah." He would do stuff on him. My father would turn beat red.
Yeah, Rickles is rough, but he's so funny. He's so funny. And what about Dangerfield?
Dangerfield, we were appearing at Westbury, and no respect.
Yeah.
I was on stage opening for him, and there was a fire. The entire Westbury went on fire.
Really?
It was like, no respect. And my father was also playing, and he wrecked the car, and Rodney was like, oh my God, I can't go anywhere. Everything goes up in smoke.
I used to have to introduce him at Catch a Rising Star. I'd be the MC, and I'd say to him, Rodney, I can't put you on yet because somebody's on. Michigas, somebody else is on.
Some other Michigas.
Harry Fadouche has 10 minutes to do, and he'd be like, even here I don't get any respect. He's a big star, and he had to wait. He had to wait. He was funny. Okay, how about Tallulah Bankhead? Now, people out there who are under 80 don't know who Tallulah Bankhead was.
Okay, so
she was a very famous actress in her time, and very interesting alcoholic.
She taught me to drink at 7. It was a Broadway show. Burgess Meredith directed. I was 7.
7 years old.
7 years old.
Oh my God.
And it was about this very crazy old woman who corrupted these 3 children she babysat for.
Oh.
But she was really glamorous on the side, but she pretended she was this old bag woman. And she would take me back in the dressing room and she'd say, "Honey, here, you smoke the real thing," because we spoke those powder puffs on stage.
Yeah.
She taught me how to smoke the real thing. And here, take a shot of this, I passed out on the dressing room floor. Really?
From the alcohol.
I had to go, oh my God, I had like 3 shots. I was just downing it like there was no tomorrow.
Rose? Nobody was protecting you.
Mama Rose was, are you kidding?
Jeez.
When I'm in the dressing room with Tallulah Bankhead, Mama Rose was home, and counting her bank account.
Nobody there to protect you. This is why child stars are crazy.
I know. But I'm married to a cop now. He's there to protect me.
You're married to a cop that you met when you were being stalked.
I was being stalked. He was the God, you know all
I know everything. You have crack detectives here.
I guess you do.
Yeah.
So he was basically the detective on the case, and we spoke, and he's like this very hunky, very Midwestern Alec Baldwin type.
He's in the green room. Can we see him?
He's really
please?
cute.
Can someone just put a camera on the guy?
Put a camera on the guy.
Okay.
So anyway, we talked for a while, then we met, and it was like a blind date. Next thing you know, 2 weeks later, we were engaged.
Look at you.
Let me tell you something. It is very interesting being married to a cop.
Because?
Brings his work home with him. Trust me, if I act up, he'll put me under house arrest, handcuffs and everything. Really?
Well, hello.
When you are married to an officer of the law, there is no need to read 50 Shades of Grey.
And with that, I will wrap this up. It was so lovely to have you here, Pia. I mean it.
Me too.
Adorable. You can catch Pia Zadora at New York's Metropolitan Room tonight through February.
Thursday.
No.
Thursday.
No, it's tonight. Shut up.
Oh, shit.
Let's do it again.
Sorry.
Let's do it again.
Oh, me.
We're on tape. This is airing Thursday. And it was lovely to have you, Pia. You can catch Pia Zadora at New York's Metropolitan Room tonight through February 10th. We'll be back in a minute. Thanks, hon. Lovely. Look at the ring. Look at the ring. Oh, a big strapping hunk. Yeah. Love it. How long? I'm back with Pia Zadora, and her husband, Michael Jeffries, is with us now. So, Michael, I have to ask you, you're a big strapping police officer. Do you really put handcuffs on her at night?
No, but I gave him a speeding ticket during sex yesterday.
Well, really, that doesn't say much about your performance, Michael.
But, Joy, if anyone wants to meet him in person later, they can call 911. Work for me.
Tell me about your reality show that you're coming up with.
My reality show is Discovery Network. And I just signed a deal. It's in development. We've been shooting some segments. We're shooting here. And I can't really tell you about it.
Does it have a title?
I can tell you, well, a working title, but I can't tell you what it's about, but I can tell you what it's not about. There will be no Kardashians, no hillbilly hand fishing, and best of all, it's not going to be called Pia Zadora, what's the Honey Boo Boo? Pia Zadora.
Honey Boo Boo, I don't know. That's one
Pia Zadora, Pia Zadora. What's the title of the Honey Boo Boo?
I don't know. You think I watch that stuff?
Here comes Honey Boo Boo Zadora.
I don't know.
I totally messed it up.
All right, we'll cut that
Here
part
comes
out.
Honey Boo Boo.
No, let's go back. Go back. We can fix this.
Okay.
So, what's this show going to be called?
We have a working title, and
Which
the working
is?
title is The Life of Pia.
The Life of Pia, like the Life of Pi?
Right.
Oh,
right.
That's funny. So, is Michael going to be in it with you?
Well, I hope so. He's part of my life.
Do you have children?
We have I have a child that's his stepson, and he has a child that's my stepson.
I see.
So we have stepchildren.
Are they going to be in the show?
Oh yeah.
You have to.
Of course.
And you know, you have to have drama when you have a reality show. You're going to have like meltdowns and all sorts of stuff going on. They take you off the air if you're too boring, you know?
Exactly. Well,
So what's your plan?
we have drama. We need to de-dramatize ourselves. You have no idea what it is being married to a cop.
Like what's give me an example of something that's real. Like he'll come home at night and tell you
he'll come home
there was
at
a body
night.
floating in the
All
East
right,
River.
Just give us one example. No, it's more than that. He is the cop whisperer. There are issues, domestic violence, people. Tell him about Martha Stewart.
Oh my goodness, Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart is an older lady that has been on the street for a number of years.
She's been on the street for
Yes.
Oh,
She's a black
baking
hooker.
cookies.
A black hooker.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes I have to translate for him, right,
Yeah.
honey?
Okay, that's all
Nonetheless,
right. The
very
two of
very
you make
nice, very nice lady who really keeps a lot of things in perspective and has had a very challenged life.
Yes.
All through it. She's got some interesting stories, and she's just a great person for me to talk to.
Yeah.
Because we can relate and really speak on terms she's not used to in speaking with other police officers.
Is she an older woman? Or
Yes, she
she's
is.
an older hooker? Mm-hmm. She's still catching some money out of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are the Johns that go to an older hooker?
Older Johns.
Older Johns? No. I mean, that's interesting. I've
well,
never heard of
it
that.
is. It's a whole different type of lifestyle, and I think, you know, without really diving into it, there's a matter of trying to survive. There's a matter of making what you can, however you can.
Yeah.
And that's basically where some folks find themselves.
I
It's just
see.
out of desperation and need to survive.
I know, but at 70, shouldn't she be on welfare or something instead of turning tricks?
You would think so, but you know what? She's pretty content.
Yeah.
She's content.
Yes.
Okay.
But
well,
then there are
whatever's-
stories like
whatever
the
makes you
stabbing.
happy.
You want to tell the stabbing story?
The stabbing story?
It's really heart-wrenching. Is it okay? Do you have time for it?
Sure.
Go for it, honey. No, I mean,
The
Go ahead, do
stabbing
it, do
story.
it.
There are obviously I
They-
share some of the
some have-
very traumatic moments.
they use this as a teaching video in the police
The stabbing
academy.
story?
Yeah, because he handled it so well. Go ahead.
Well, it's one of those things that you don't have time to think about. It just happens. This happened back in the 90s, and it all started with a 911 call. A woman out of desperation calls 911. Her husband and herself had been quarreling throughout the evening, and he began to stab her while she was on the phone with 911. I arrived on that scene. There were two kids also, 9 and 11, that were inside the apartment. And of course, right when I pulled up, I heard the blood-curdling screams of, "I'm not mad, I'm dying." So
Who said? Her?
yes,
I'm not mad, I'm dying, she was saying?
no, she wasn't screaming because she was angry.
She
it
was
was a
screaming
He could
because
tell.
she was
Yeah.
dying.
It was a distinct
Yeah,
scream
I
that
see.
you
You
can tell the
understand
difference.
I
when you
gotcha.
hear it. So going up to the door, he was straddled over the top of her and ready to stab her again. And of course, I engaged him. He dropped the knife. We took him into custody. And I had the two kids trying to tell me to save their mother.
Yeah.
Can you only imagine what that's like? I didn't have enough hands. I'm trying to slow or stop the bleeding. We're trying to expedite medical, and I'm not making any headway. I'm talking to her. She's starting to lose consciousness. And that was in front of her children at the time. So
what happened?
Well, she died, and the daughter, trying to help her mom, was also stabbed in the kidney in the melee.
Oh, this is too sad, this story.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's heart-wrenching. And like I say, back then, which I can still see as yesterday, having the two kids telling you that they want you to save their mother.
Yeah, it's a tough job that you have there.
And you know what? There's just a few of those that happen throughout your career. And
That stay with you.
Any police officer anywhere understands that and go through their own.
But on a
drama
lighter
as well.
note, Meshuggah calls him his husband-in-law.
He does?
So we all
Does
get
he
along
really?
very well.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And we get along
and
very
I
well.
see this ring she's wearing is from the
Rickles.
Meshuggah days.
Meshuggah.
Am I right?
Meshuggah
Well,
is more like it.
I mean,
yeah.
you know, you're a working guy, and
Right, right.
Meshuggah
Yeah.
has got all this cash.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope he sees this, sends me a little something.
Yeah.
Okay, you can catch Pia's one-woman show, PIA ZADORA, back and again standing tall, because she's tiny. See, that's what's funny about it. Tonight through February 10th at New York's Metropolitan Room. We'll be back in a minute.